So we got about 80 years of Black oppression that I threw in there, but one family deals with it in the specific year 1965.
Oh, okay. Ooh, that's a throwback.
Yeah, that's a throwback. But why was it so important for you to bring that to the forefront now in this day and age?
Well, because how this actually started was Kanye West, Kyrie Irving was dealing with their issues with the Jews, right? And people kept calling me, asking me my opinion. And the more I talk to people, the more I realize that, dang, a lot of us don't really know African American history. So, me being an artist, how could I create something that would kind of educate people about that time period or the relationship with the Jews? So it started out like that. But it ended up being a play because I didn't want to make it a painting or a drawing. It ended up being a play because I thought I don't want to make this a movie. I think it would be too all over the place. But as a theater goer, I would love to see this on stage. So I kind of look at it as like infotainment, like entertainment and information at the same time.
At the same time, I love that.
Yeah, give the people information, enrich them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Entertain them all at the same time.
All at the same time.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So you said earlier that it's really going well. What have you learned about yourself in preparing for this play?
Honestly, nothing really bothers me. I'm always calm, and I just got some reassurance from myself because I caught myself telling a cast member that I don't have anything to worry about because I don't get nervous, and I was like, should I have said that to them? Did that sound too cocky? You know what I'm saying? But I
too arrogant.
Yeah, I don't want, but I'm dead serious though. So I don't have, because I'm going to be in the play as well, and I was like, I have nothing to worry about. Like my intention going in was, if whatever role I can't fill, I'm just going to play it because the acting range for the males isn't too hard for me, with the exception of the singer. I can't sing, but outside of that, I'm like, I can play any one of these men.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna flip that question around that Christina just asked you. She asked about what do you hope to get out of it? What do you hope that the listening audience, the viewers, those that come out and see this play, what do you hope that they will get out of it at the end of the day?
Well, it depends on the audience, because in terms of it being art, my art lovers, I want them to look at it as like a respectable work of art. Now, in terms of a message, because it's very African American centered, I'm really on the fence about that one, because you can't really solve everybody's problem. Like the solution that this family has in the play, everybody's situation isn't there, so they can't go with that solution. Like, it's not the message to Black people, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I hope that the art lovers respect it and like the art, and then our people, you take what you can. You know what applies to you, take it. If it don't, let it fall.
I
like that. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Lady, you want to add something else?
Oh no, I'm all into the whole art part of it.
Yeah.
And just getting, like you said, the takeaway is get what you need and what you don't need. Just move it over.
For sure.
So any upcoming projects? I know this is still new, fresh. I know you let you finish this before you start something else.
Well,
in the back of your head,
honestly, I'm a worker. So I actually just got approved as a finalist for another script I wrote.
Okay.
In a festival in LA. So crossing my fingers on that. I'm third place right now, but technically, I call it third place. They didn't tell me I'm third place, but I look at it, if I'm not first, I'm third, because he said we're down to our last 3 finalists.
Okay.
So I look at it as like we're all in third place. This particular play got accepted into a festival that will be later on in this year. So I have more announcements about that.
Okay.
But
Very good. Well, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm just
you go,
intrigued.
You go.
Yeah, go ahead. What you was gonna ask me?
So you're fairly young, in my opinion. Where do you hope to see yourself with this whole, with everything, all your skills, all your talents, all your gifts? What do you hope to do with that, say, in the next 10 years?
I want to just create more art. I just want to be one of the best artists ever. I was telling her earlier that when I looked at other artists before me, whether that be musicians or performers, that I was really liking to the lifestyle of Prince, because how much he worked and how he looked at art. It's not just music, and it's just a lot of artists kind of look only in their medium. There are some people who don't. Like Michael Jackson didn't, but Kanye West obviously doesn't. He looks at fashion, But Prince had the vault, and he would create every day. He would try to make something every day, and he was so serious about being independent and stuff like that. And I just really I just want to continue to make my art. I just want to continue to make my art.
So have you ever had the opportunity for some of your artwork to be licensed for people to use it?
Yeah. Right now my artwork is in one gallery, but in terms of licensing, I had what's it called? I had a logo I made printed up, got licensed for some stuff, but not a lot. Most of my art I've either sold, or since I do tattoos, is on people's body for the rest of their life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is a Christian radio broadcast, and one of the things that people are blessed by is testimonies, And you mentioned how when you go and have different interviews, people often like to talk about your past. But I want to give you the opportunity to just share that portion of your testimony, in an inspirational way.
So that's heavy. I come from. I'm gonna just walk into my childhood a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna just jump in it. Okay. All right. So because I don't want it. It may be a little arbitrary, it may be a little all over the place, but I have to jump in it because we don't stare. And we don't stare at the past. We just glance at it. We don't stare at the past. We just glance at it. So I was raised by my aunt, my mother's sister. I met my mom when I was maybe in between 8 and 12, and I met my father around that time too. My father is Nigerian. My mother never lived too far from us, but I was raised by my aunt, her sister. So I never really had parents, I seen my father maybe about 3 times when I was younger. After my earliest memory of him, the next time I saw him, I was in jail. I went to jail for aggravated robbery when I was fresh out of high school. I was charged, but I wasn't convicted. The guy that said I robbed him, I did beat him up. I got charged with assault. So they ended up dropping it to an assault charge. After, when I got out of jail, for the first time, I got shot. I got shot. I was in the streets. I was always in shootouts, but I just had never got hit. So when I actually got shot, people was like, Kevo, he probably did, cause I was just wild. Like I was either beating somebody up and I used to box and stuff too. So it was like, man, ain't nobody finna fight him. So, that kind of took a twist for the hood basically. And in remembering those years, I remember cars used to be everything. I had a homie named Jono, and he was big in cars, and I never was the flashy type. I always was very I always tell people this. People post what they think is cool, right? Mm-hmm. So I was more like Richard Porter. I wasn't too flashy, but I just do a little bit of something. I really was in love with hustling more than I was being a hustler. So with Jono, he used to always have nice cars, slab. And I never would step out like that, right? I never would be like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. So when I finally did do it, I was, I sell cocaine, so I'm gonna get a white BMW with Lamborghini doors and white rims. So that was my thing. And that car got shot up so bad. And I felt like this is my biggest sign because it was like my prized possession. Like them people try to take that car. People, it's a nice car, And to be honest with you, not that I hate to say it, but I think the truth is the truth. I really consider myself, with looking back at that, like a successful drug dealer. Not because I made money selling drugs, but because I stopped. Mm-hmm. I think that's the success of it, because none of the money I have now is from drugs. Like, I lost everything doing that. I almost lost my life. You know what I'm saying? And to answer your question, in terms of testimony, I have millions of them. I try to I'm looking at my childhood like and my younger adult, and I'm like, that's a lot of stuff. But to sum that up, that whole lifestyle, coming from all that makes me super successful. I would never think I would be how I am right now.
Mm-hmm. And I am telling you, Kevo, just listening to your story, I know how it has impacted me just listening to it. But for that person out there that's listening right now, that had that same experience, that same childhood, that same environment, I am telling you, you have given them hope.
Yes,
And that's what we are all about, giving hope to the hopeless, spreading hope, encouraging, uplifting people. So your testimony, whether you believe it or not, has helped someone tonight, has helped one of our listeners who thought they were nothing because of their past. But you have just given them inspiration.
Yeah.
You have just opened up opportunity,
yes,
their eyes to say like, hey, I can do this too, or I can, I
wanna go off something you asked me earlier. You asked me, did I learn something about myself doing a play? And I was like, not really, because blah, blah, blah. But with teaching, I have. I teach in college right now. Mm-hmm. And, people from my hood would never imagine that, but I asked them, could you ever see me teaching? They always like, yeah, duh. You know what I'm saying? Like, duh.
They saw it in you, but you didn't see it.
So I'm serious. So this is to answer your question. That's something that I learned about myself. Mm-hmm. Because when I went to do the interview, I was thinking, man, I got a record. I don't have no felonies. I just got so many misdemeanors. I got gun charges, drug charges, assault charges. I was like, these people are not going to hire me. Man, that lady looked at me and said, man, you might be overqualified. She said, how do you know so much about art? Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, when I got out of jail, that's all I read about. It's all I did. Like, I know Prince is a musician, but I know so much random stuff about this dude. Just the Medici family, I know so much about different artists, Basquiat, Picasso, so many, Caravaggio. It's just all in there that to where when I actually, when I wanted to become a better artist, mm-hmm. especially in terms of tattooing, I wanted to learn how to paint because I was like, it might make me better. That I got, guided, the universe put me in this place to where I ended up at this school called the Glassell School downtown. It's the Museum of Fine Arts Houston. They have a school. I wanted to learn how to paint. So I went there, and then they told me, oh, you can't just come in here and take painting classes. You got to go take drawing and this and that. And what happened was, and I know I'm a writer, but what happened was, it was when I took one of their writing classes that they said, hey, you something special. He told me, he said, this is good writing. Like, you don't have any no college education. He said, you need to be in college. He said, I'm going to write your letter of recommendation. So whenever you want to, whatever school you want to go to, just remember I said that. And I went to HCC, and then I transferred to U of H, and he wrote my letter of recommendation.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Change your whole life around.
Facts.
That's good. Well, go ahead, lady.
So I heard your whole story and everything, and it kind of sounds like you were a self-motivator. But was there anyone, and I know you talked about not having parents and being raised by your aunt, but was there anyone in your circle that you kind of looked up to?
Nah, I told her earlier that I think the emotion, I think that everybody's life has an emotion, whether that be anger, whether it be love or empathy, and I really believe mine is passion. I think that we played flag football a couple years ago, me and my homies. I lost and I started crying. And they was laughing at me like, bro, it's not that serious. And I think that's been my thing. I'm just very driven. Mm-hmm. I'm just very driven. I think that's my main life emotion. And I can articulate this better now that I'm older, but I know for a fact that most of that comes from not having parents, because I remember I dated a girl, and she's Nigerian as well. It was when I was like 18 or 19, and she told me, if you were to grow up in a Nigerian household, it's no way they will let you do all the stuff you're doing, because she was like, you just try everything, you want to do everything. And she was like, you're kind of lucky that you didn't have it. And I was like, well, you know, when I was young, I used to want to prove to my parents that I could be something. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say I can articulate this better, because I felt it then, but I couldn't say it. You know, I didn't know how to express it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But now I know that my mother's dead now, you know, and we didn't have a bad relationship, but she died last year. But I know that was a big motivation for me when I was younger, that I had to prove something to my parents.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, Kevo, you are alive.
Yeah.
You are alive, but it's a good thing.
It's a good life.
It's a good life. So,